Hello, Rolteus, Masonic Illuminati Space Jew from Nibiru, Tommy, or whatever you want to go by today with your 7 accounts. I'm here to address you. I'm going to go through your account or your comment, and I'm going to address it as it goes. Rather than talk about how things look, let's deal with something we can both easily prove and measure that's not a visual proof, which isn't actually proof anyway by any standard. Let's just stop right there. You want to dismiss what is obviously flat, such as the horizon, and you want to automatically dismiss the fact that there is absolutely zero mechanically hard measured observations of this supposed curvature, which isn't actually proof. Are you serious? Let's move on. My question concerns the atmosphere and why it gets thinner as you rise up in elevation. The atmosphere doesn't actually get thinner. The air concentration thins out so you can't breathe up there. You always talk about the horizon rising up to the eye of the observer, so you should easily understand the concept I'll present. Well, absolutely. The eye always rises up to the eye of the observer because it's flat. Take your globe, for example, here. Anywhere you're at on this globe, regardless of the orientation it's at, you are at the highest point of the globe. And as you rise up off the globe, the moment you ascend from the surface, you are going to have to start looking down to see that distinct line of separation from the solid landmass and the gaseous atmosphere plane. I think we can all agree that the atmosphere of Earth, gases we breathe, is denser at sea level and less dense at, say, the top of Mount Everest. Now, no, I'm not going to, yes, in a sense, the air at sea level is denser as the density dictates where it's going to lay in relation to the elevation of it. But let's move on here just a little bit further. Either one of us can easily measure this, but for the sake of this argument, we'll appeal to authority. No, we will not appeal to authority. You can appeal to authority. There's only one authority as far as I'm concerned, and that's the great creator of this realm. And I cannot physically talk to him and get a actual response from him. So we are going to deal with what we know, but not from authority, by our comprehension of how nature and nature's laws work. The reason for this is unimportant. We won't get into it Now, we have established that when we rise up in elevation, the atmosphere gets progressively thinner, giving way to the complete vacuum of space. Would you agree? Absolutely not. I do not agree. I do not even for a second think that there is a complete vacuum up there. What I think happens is it turns into a void, empty of all matter. No vacuum whatsoever. All of the weighted gases settle down into a near horizontal layer, just like the water lays flat, minus the little bit of turbulence that ruffles the surface. There is no vacuum up there. You cannot have a vacuum and what you call a pressurized system coexisting without a barrier. Let's move on. We know high altitude jet pilots like the U-2 and SR-71 must wear oxygen, I think you left off masks and pressure suits, to survive at 100,000 feet elevation. This can also be measured if anyone that is launching private rockets with cameras on them would concern themselves with actually testing things rather than simply taking pictures to satisfy their confirmation and cognitive biases. Well, I think that the people that are sending these high altitude rockets and high altitude balloons up are more interested in what is observable through the vision, and I'm sure that there are those who have sent up for the research of the atmospheric gases. Let's move on. If Earth were a flat plane under a dome and without gravity, it would basically be a large pressurized vessel. Would you agree? No, I don't agree. I already covered that. You cannot have a vacuum and a pressurized system coexisting without a physical barrier. A place where density and buoyancy dictate why things rise and fall according to your model. Excuse me, I do not have a model. I do not know what Earth is shape-wise other than its no spinning ball. If a vessel is pressurized like a scuba tank or a balloon, you have equal pressures all over the internal surface of this vessel. I can accept that part of it, but you don't have denser gas at the bottom and less dense gas at the top. Would you agree? Absolutely not. You put oxygen and hydrogen in the same tank and you pressurize it and let it set, I guarantee you the hydrogen will rise to the top of the vessel while the oxygen remains at the bottom of the vessel. This can also be tested and has been. No, it isn't that way. Gravity is exponentially proportional to the proximity of masses. Gravity is a theory, nothing but a theory. Density overrules gravity. Density is a natural law. Gravity is an imaginative force. How can gravity, a force of nature, have a mind of its own so that it can pull when it needs to and push when it needs to and change its pulling and pushing force as dictated by an object's relative placement upon this fake spinning globe? Gravity is your God. It's not a fact. It's an imagination. The gaseous atmosphere of Earth has mass, and Earth has mass. I agree with you there. These two masses are mutually attracted, but as you get further away, this attraction decreases exponentially, giving way to zero gravity. So this gravity knows that it's got to pull or push up to the point of there being no more mass. That's ludicrous in itself. That is not the reason the atmosphere gets thinner as you go into space. The atmosphere does not get thinner as you go into space. Rolteus. You have all these gases that are near the same weight, very slight differences. And as you have the heat of the sun as it circles over the earth, heating these gases, creating currents as the hot gases rise and the cold gases sink, it's like a blender. The gases are being mixed. But the higher you go, as the gases cool and begin to separate their own density out, there's layers of more oxygen mass mixed with the nitrogen mass and the other gases that are out there. It's like if you take a container and you it doesn't even have to be a sealed container. You can put CO2 in this container and it will level off right here. And then you can pump oxygen into this same container and it will come down and settle onto the CO2 without mixing in with the CO2. It doesn't change the mass of the CO2 or the oxygen. It doesn't change the density of the CO2 or the oxygen. Mixing it up does not change the density of the CO2 and the oxygen. It just mixes the two so that the weight of the CO2 and the weight of the oxygen mixed with it create a mixed gas, rather than letting it sit there for a while and the gases will separate. That's why they take canaries into the mines, so that when these noble and inert gases fill the mine, the canary will die and let the people know to get out, because their oxygen supply has been depleted by the gases that are inert, unbreathable, are settling into the bottom of the mine. And that is why the atmosphere, there is less oxygen in the atmosphere. It doesn't deplete its mass. It doesn't change its density. It changes the concentration of the different gases that are in the said section of atmos plane that you are comparing. I think that was about as original as you can get, and it's about as obvious as you can get. Now let's jump back up here to the top about your visual proof. I can set myself up a builder's level, Rolteus, and I can measure the elevation of the water line at the beach, and I can measure the elevation of the mountain in the not too distant, and I can measure every foot in between there. But I can't set up no builder's instrument and measure the curvature drop of 7.95 inches per mile, whatever it truly is. It's not quite 8 per mile squared. It's not out there anywhere. And that is measurable visual proof. You can take the measurement from here, you can have it set up to this point over here with your elevation and your story stick, and you will not find the curvature. You get it yet? Everything within this realm that moves, it does not matter if it's a basketball rolling down the street or flying through the air, a bird flying through the air, a plane flying through the air, the wind blowing, the water current in the stream, a fish swimming in the stream, a rocket shooting up and out over the ocean because they don't go up and up. Anything, your motor speed, everything within this realm that has motion, Rolteus, there is a mechanical means that will hard measure that motion. Everything except for the four supposed motions of Earth, as Earth is supposed to be rotating on its axis while orbiting the sun, while the sun orbits the Milky Way, and the Milky Way shoots through the infinite universe. Why is that, Rolteus? Tommy, why can't you measure the motion? Why can't you measure the curvature? And one more. Forces. Let's get into forces while we're at it. You have gale force, magnetic force, electrical force, hydraulic force, you name it, seismic force. Every force within this realm, there is a mechanical means that will measure that force. Every force that is, except for this mystical, magical, mythical theory of a force of gravity you globe professors hold on to so dearly to keep your globe afloat. One more observable fact, Rolteus. Take the physics of water and the surface of water. Water is just a highly concentrated gas, or the gas is just a lower concentrated water. They both maintain a flat level surface tension. You don't get it? I can't help you. You don't understand? that the three absolute musts for Earth to be a spinning ball, the curvature, the motion, and gravity, cannot be hard mechanically measured. It does not exist if it cannot be measured. The three absolute musts for Earth to be a spinning ball hurtling through space are absolutely absent from within this realm. And you don't get it. You still hold on to your ball. And that is why all you ball professors are nothing but ballless ball suckers. And at this point in time, with the lack of physical, hard, measured, factual evidence of Earth to be a spinning ball, you have all turned into ball swallowers. I hope that answered your question. I hope you can comprehend what I'm telling you. No, Earth is not flat. It has mountain peaks and it has ocean valleys and flat spots in between. It's a wave realm. Rolteus, Masonic, Illuminati, Space Jew from Nibiru. Tommy, I hope I answered all of your questions and touched on all of your statements. Thank you. You guys have a wonderful day. For you guys who tuned in to this presentation to Rolteus. Tommy, excuse me. And I'm not being rude, Tommy. There's nothing sexual about me calling you ballless, ball suckers, and ball swallowers. That is what you are. There's no sexual intention of it whatsoever. See you guys later. Thanks for watching.